Chosen one, anchor your spirit to what I am about to reveal today. I need you to stop scrolling and lock every part of your attention onto this message. The energy in the spiritual realm is shifting at an unprecedented speed. Something incredibly explosive is preparing to detonate on July 25th. You have felt this silent build-up inside your bones for weeks now. The atmosphere inside your own home has been remarkably heavy. You have been waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning with a strange weight pressing on your chest. You try to explain this intense feeling to the people around you, but the words simply fail. Your physical body feels completely drained of all its energy. And even when you manage to get a full night of sleep, you wake up feeling like you just fought a massive war in your dreams. The profound exhaustion you carry is entirely real. This fatigue is not just physical. It is a deep spiritual drain that leaves you gasping for air. The enemy has been working overtime against you for one specific reason. He knows exactly what shifts the moment you understand what is truly happening. You have noticed that everything around you seems to be breaking down at the exact same time. Financial delays keep happening for absolutely no logical reason. Your physical surroundings feel chaotic, and your mind feels unusually clouded. People you deeply trusted are suddenly acting distant and remarkably cold. Conversations literally stop the moment you walk into the room. You can feel the sudden shift in their energy when they look at you. You feel like an absolute stranger in your own home. You feel like a wanderer in your own life. And this painful isolation makes you wonder if you are doing something terribly wrong. You constantly ask yourself if heaven is punishing you for a past mistake. You watch ordinary people succeed effortlessly while you have to bleed for every single inch of ground. It feels deeply unfair, and it makes you want to surrender completely. You give so much of your heart to others, but you receive so very little in return. The world constantly calls you too sensitive and too intense. They tell you that you think too much and care too deeply about things that do not matter. They completely fail to understand the massive spiritual weight you carry on your shoulders every single day. You are breaking generational curses, and that requires an astronomical amount of spiritual force. But you are not imagining this intense pressure. You are not being too sensitive. What you are sensing in the unseen realm is absolutely real, and I am confirming it for you right now. You did not find this prophetic message by accident. The internet algorithm did not bring you to this exact moment. God brought you here. This is a divine appointment scheduled long before the foundations of the earth were laid. Heaven is about to recalibrate your destiny. Before we go any further into the revelation, I want to hold something incredibly important in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a quiet church or a spiritual community, but inside a rigorous research laboratory. This hidden discovery won the highest scientific recognition available, and most chosen ones have never been told about it. It perfectly explains the massive gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in rare flashes. It explains why your powerful intuition suddenly goes completely silent when you need it the most. It reveals why the universe responds instantly to some people while leaving you waiting in the dark. I will show you exactly what was found by these dedicated researchers. But I cannot show you yet. First, I need you to fully understand what was violently taken from you without your consent. So I want you to hold this specific question in your quiet mind. What if the frustrating gap between your massive effort and your breakthrough is not a character flaw? What if that missing piece actually has a scientific name? Hold on to that thought as we move forward. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly what will happen in the spirit realm on July 25th. I will completely expose the specific and highly toxic lie that has been keeping your frequency trapped for years. This lie was planted inside you when you were incredibly young and vulnerable. And at the very end of this message, I will give you the exact declaration you must speak out loud. That powerful declaration will permanently seal your deliverance and activate your true spiritual authority. Do not click away. If you leave before the end, you will walk away from the very verdict that breaks this exhausting cycle. The enemy desperately wants you to get distracted right now. Resist that sudden urge to close this video. Your future self is standing on the other side of these exact words, waiting for you to simply receive them. Stay with me until the very last second. Let me reframe your entire reality right now. That painful isolation you have been calling a punishment was never actually a punishment. It was always meant to be a holy preparation for your next chapter. He completely cleared the room and silenced the noise so he could finally speak directly to your spirit without any toxic interference from the world. The massive spiritual pressure you feel right now is not evidence of your failure. It is concrete evidence of your divine selection. July 25th is not just another random day on the calendar. It is a cosmic deadline and a powerful spiritual activation point that will change your trajectory. Heaven is currently setting up a massive domino effect in your life, and the enemy is absolutely terrified of what happens when they finally fall. You are standing inside a divine crucible of transformation. The intense heat you feel is burning away everything that cannot travel with you into the next season. The relationships that suddenly ended were actually holding your true frequency down. The delays that frustrated you so deeply were actually protecting you from entering the wrong doors at the wrong time. You are being completely upgraded from the inside out. You have been afraid of the chaos surrounding you lately. You genuinely thought the sudden storms meant you were moving in the wrong direction. But God often uses violent storms to blow away the heavy debris that is completely blocking your spiritual view. The explosive event coming on July 25th requires a clean foundation before it can manifest. You simply cannot pour fresh new wine into old and broken wineskins. There is a very specific reason why this upgrade feels so exhausting. It goes much deeper than just the spiritual warfare you face daily. Here is what the world never told you about your invisible struggle. The reason the universe seems to respond effortlessly to certain people and not others is not about having perfect faith or maintaining flawless discipline. It is actually tied directly to a highly specific biological brainwave. Researchers in the lab call it the gamma frequency. And it is the exact frequency your beautiful brain was running naturally when you were a joyful child. Think back to when you were very young and brilliant ideas came easily to your mind. Back then you somehow knew things before they actually happened in reality. The world felt like it was totally on your side, and magical synchronicities were just a normal part of your day. Then adulthood arrived, and the harsh modern world went to work on your mind. The chronic stress and the endless glowing screens began to alter your natural brain patterns. The relentless survival routine slowly drained your innate spiritual power away. The school system trained you to conform perfectly instead of creating freely. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed just a little bit further. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your waking mind until it almost vanished. Until the vibrant version of you with lightning intuition and photographic memory went completely silent. It was a systematic and intentional suppression of your greatest gift. When that gamma frequency fades, your natural genius fades right along with it. Your sharp intuition slowly dulls into a state of persistent and heavy anxiety. The comforting sense that the universe is working directly with you goes entirely quiet and leaves you feeling abandoned. You start believing that you must painfully fight for every single blessing in your life. You forget that you were specifically designed to effortlessly receive rather than to constantly strive. This is why manifestation practices and meditations often fail you completely. You sit in silence and try to force your vibration higher through sheer willpower, but you are essentially trying to broadcast an incredibly powerful divine signal through a broken biological radio. The intention in your heart is pure, but the biological hardware has been severely compromised by years of stress. Your beautiful spirit is willing, but your physical frequency is heavily blocked. Most people will live their lives without knowing this happened to them. They will walk through life completely disconnected from their highest and most authentic potential. They will simply blame their bad luck or their lack of intelligence for their constant failures. You are absolutely not like most of the people sleeping around you. You are a chosen one who is finally waking up to the profound truth of your existence. Remember the crucial question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago? The question about a mysterious gap and a hidden scientific name? The answer to that life-changing question is closer than you could ever imagine. What if all your endless struggles with finances and broken relationships are not a character flaw at all? What if they are simply the direct and reversible result of this suppressed brainwave? As July 25th approaches, the spiritual realm is demanding that you finally wake up. You cannot step into this massive breakthrough if your biological receiver is still turned off. Heaven is sending you the necessary signals, but your suppressed mind simply cannot decode them. You have been blaming your faith when the real problem was your frequency all along. But this stolen frequency can absolutely be restored to its original power. The damage done by the modern world is not a permanent life sentence. Coming up very soon, I will show you exactly how this dormant brainwave is turned back on. I will reveal exactly what the top neuroscientists quietly discovered inside their advanced research labs, while the rest of the world was distracted. But first, this profound truth about your holy preparation must settle incredibly deep in your spirit. But here is where the narrative of your spiritual journey delves far deeper than most people are ever willing to perceive. You have to understand the fundamental law of frequency. It secretly governs your entire life right now. The universe does not speak in human language or simple wishes. It speaks entirely in vibration and spiritual resonance. You attract exactly what you radiate into the unseen world. When heaven wants to dramatically elevate your life, it must first elevate your base frequency. And that profound elevation often feels exactly like total destruction to your limited human mind. You are currently placed inside a spiritual crucible. The spiritual crucible is a violent furnace designed specifically to burn away the weak impurities of your fragile old identity. The heat is intense, but it is never meant to destroy you. Think about the great biblical figures who carried massive assignments on their weary shoulders. Moses was completely isolated in the barren desert for 40 long years before he ever witnessed the miracle of the burning bush. God cleared the room completely for him. He removed the chaotic noise of Egypt. This allowed Moses to finally hear the divine voice. His painful isolation was not a cruel rejection by the world. It was always his holy and divine consecration. David was not anointed as a mighty king while sitting comfortably in a luxurious palace. He was heavily isolated in the lonely fields, tending to simple sheep, while his older brothers were constantly celebrated by society. Heaven always hides its most powerful weapons in the dark. They stay hidden before deploying to the front lines. You are not being pushed aside by the cruel universe. You are being carefully hidden in the divine quiver. Joseph had to endure the terror of the dark pit and the cold prison before he ever reached the royal palace. He had to be completely stripped of his old colorful coat. This prepared him to wear the heavy mantle of leadership. The extreme pressure he faced was forging his spiritual authority. You are walking through that exact same holy forge today. The fire is simply authenticating your true heavenly calling. Elijah had to flee into the lonely wilderness and hide in a quiet cave to hear the still, small voice. He felt completely abandoned and exhausted by the massive spiritual warfare, but heaven was actually preparing him for his next move. He was destined to anoint the next generation of powerful leaders. Your current exhaustion is not a sign of your bitter defeat. It is the heavy toll of carrying a massive destiny. This brings us to a profound truth that you must let settle deeply in your aching bones right now. The heavy spiritual warfare you are experiencing is absolute proof. It proves your immense and undeniable value to the kingdom. The enemy does not waste premium attacks on unimportant targets. They only coordinate attacks against people with premium spiritual assignments. The sheer intensity of the opposition is a direct indicator of your breakthrough. If you were not a massive threat to the kingdom of darkness, you would be left entirely alone in comfortable peace. The system attacks you relentlessly every single day. Your sudden awakening actively destroys their control over your bloodline. Your pain was never a random accident of a chaotic universe. It was a rigorous training ground designed to make you unbreakable. The upcoming cosmic shift strictly requires an unbreakable human vessel. On July 25th, a massive wave of energetic recalibration is going to hit the entire Earth with incredible and undeniable force. Only those who have been fiercely tested will be ready. They will effortlessly surf that massive and powerful new wave. People who actively avoided the fire will find themselves completely overwhelmed, but you have been standing bravely in the intense flames. You are totally and completely ready for this upcoming activation. Every single secret tear you cried in the dark was actually watering the fragile seeds of your future spiritual authority. The heavy emotional burdens you carried were building your muscles. They built your spiritual strength for this exact holy moment. Heaven has kept a meticulous record of your silent suffering. Nothing you went through was ever wasted by the universe. Every single ounce of pain became raw and powerful currency. You are absolutely no longer the deeply wounded person who first walked into this long and painful season of waiting. The old version of you simply could not have survived. The brutal warfare of these last few months was relentless. You have been completely transformed by the intense divine heat. You are now a heavily fortified and entirely unbreakable vessel. You can easily hold the massive blessing that is approaching. And once that profound truth clicks into place, you are finally ready to uncover the next deeply hidden spiritual layer. There is a much deeper root operating beneath this season. You must urgently see it before the big day arrives. If you remain blind to it, the cycle will repeat. It will keep operating silently beneath every future season ahead. It involves the people closest to you and their strange behavior. Why do the people you love the most seem to totally misunderstand your pure intentions in this exact moment? Why are your most trusted friends suddenly pulling away forever? Coming up in just a moment, I will expose the exact reason. I will reveal why this painful separation is absolutely critical. It is heavily tied to your July 25th activation. But first, let this powerful truth settle deeply inside you. Here is the hidden truth about the people leaving your life right now. You thought they were violently rejecting you. You genuinely believed you did something terribly wrong to push them away. But heaven was actually protecting your newly upgraded spiritual frequency from the toxic attachments that would have dragged you backward into the heavy mud. Your vibration is rising so rapidly that they simply cannot breathe in your atmosphere anymore. The people pulling away are not actually rejecting your pure heart. They are subconsciously reacting to a powerful frequency they cannot yet understand. They are grieving the old version of you that they are about to lose forever. The comfort they found in your old brokenness is completely gone now, and because you are no longer bleeding for their convenient entertainment, they feel deeply threatened by your sudden, quiet strength. For your entire life you have been the one everyone comes to. They brought you their heaviest problems and dumped their toxic anxiety onto your shoulders. You gave them so much of your precious energy, but received absolutely nothing back. You functioned as a spiritual sponge for their endless negativity, while they happily walked away feeling lighter and leaving you completely drained. But heaven is permanently closing that exhausting chapter. As the explosive shift on July 25th rapidly approaches, Your energy is becoming intensely concentrated. The universe simply cannot allow energetic vampires to remain in your inner circle. If they stay, they will drain the exact power you need for your upcoming activation. The sudden arguments and the silent treatments are not an unfortunate coincidence at all, but rather deliberate spiritual interventions designed to clear your space before the massive breakthrough finally arrives. You were never rejected by those people. You were completely redirected by a loving God. What is violently leaving your life right now is just making room for what belongs to you. You have to let the old connections fall away completely without chasing them down the street. Let them walk away, because the empty seat at your table is currently being reserved for a divine connection that perfectly matches the new frequency you are emitting. Do not try to explain your spiritual growth to people committed to misunderstanding you. Their spiritual eyes are completely blinded to the massive mantle you are carrying today. When you walk into a room and the casual conversations suddenly stop, it is not an insult. Your very presence demands a level of spiritual authenticity that terrifies them deeply. And their sudden, awkward silence is simply the loud echo of their own hidden insecurities, reacting violently to your newly found and undeniable spiritual authority. They can feel the heavy weight of the anointing resting quietly on your life. Your silence is incredibly loud to demons hiding inside comfortable people. You do not even have to speak a single word to completely shift the physical atmosphere. The sheer magnitude of your developing frequency exposes the dark things they desperately want to keep hidden away in their secret closets. This is why you have felt like a complete stranger in your own home lately. You are literally vibrating on a completely different dimension of spiritual awareness, while they remain comfortably anchored to the shallow dramas of the physical world. You are standing right next to them, but spiritually you are miles ahead. The profound loneliness you feel is simply the space required for your wings to fully expand. You need absolute clearance. Every time you tried to shrink yourself to fit their small boxes, you felt physically sick. You dimmed your brilliant light just to keep everyone else feeling safe and comfortable. But heaven is loudly commanding you to stop apologizing for the massive power you carry. You were never meant to be a convenient savior for people who flatly refuse to do the heavy work required to save themselves. You carry one specific assignment only, and that holy assignment requires a level of radical focus you have never accessed before. The divine pruning process is incredibly painful, but it is absolutely necessary for your survival. The dead branches must be violently cut away so the healthy roots can thrive. You are mourning the painful loss of people who were actually assigned by the enemy to quietly destroy your massive destiny. Stop crying over closed doors that were secretly leading you straight into a toxic trap. The universe is actively fighting massive unseen battles on your behalf every single night. The chaotic disruption in your social circle is the physical proof of that spiritual warfare. The enemy desperately wants you isolated, so you feel weak and completely vulnerable right now while you navigate this incredibly heavy transition phase. But God wants you temporarily isolated so you can finally step into your unmatched authority. Your painful loneliness is just the empty runway preparing you for a massive takeoff. You are standing firmly between two entirely different identities right now. The old people-pleasing version of you is rapidly dissolving into the sacred fire, while the new breakthrough prophet is boldly rising from the very same ashes. You have to fully trust this painful relational purge with your entire broken heart. The people meant to travel with you into the next season will naturally match your new frequency. They will not require you to constantly explain your profound depth or apologize for your spiritual intensity. They will easily recognize the massive spiritual weight you carry, and they will fiercely protect it like a precious treasure. So let the painful breakups and the sudden betrayals do their holy and necessary work. Do not try to repair a broken bridge that heaven intentionally burned to the ground, because the smoke from that fire is actually guiding you toward your ultimate divine destination. You are being meticulously prepared for the massive, energetic detonation officially scheduled for July 25th. And once you finally accept that this painful separation is a divine blessing, everything changes. You stop fighting the holy process, and you start aligning with the massive, incoming wave. But there is something incredibly specific about this upcoming cosmic event you absolutely must know. Coming up next, I will show you exactly what detonates on that exact day and how it shifts your reality forever. Let this truth anchor you first. The event, scheduled for July 25th, is not a physical earthquake or a political disaster. It is a massive energetic detonation inside the unseen spiritual atmosphere that will instantly rewrite the current reality. Heaven is actively preparing to release a powerful shockwave of divine abundance directly into the earthly realm, and only the chosen ones who have fully surrendered to the painful fire will be capable of catching it. For years you have felt like you were pushing a massive boulder up a steep mountain while everyone else walked smoothly on flat ground. You exhausted your entire being trying to manifest a single drop of peace and prosperity. But on that specific day, the heavy boulder finally tips over the edge and begins rolling effortlessly down the other side. The intense friction you experienced is about to completely vanish. The doors that were violently slammed in your face will suddenly swing wide open without you even lifting a finger. Opportunities that felt impossibly far away are currently moving silently toward you at blinding speed. You are no longer desperately chasing your elusive breakthrough through the dark woods. Your massive breakthrough has finally acquired your spiritual coordinates and is actively hunting you down right now. But here is the critical warning that most false prophets will deliberately hide from you. This explosive blessing does not automatically land on everyone who simply wishes for it. The provision heaven arranged for you does not arrive as entirely new information. It actually arrives as a profound recognition of what was already placed in your path. The massive blessing is already hovering quietly in your immediate atmosphere. The desperate problem is not that God is withholding his powerful goodness from you. The terrifying problem is that your biological receiver is still heavily jammed by years of toxic stress. The enemy knows he cannot stop the massive blessing from being officially released on July 25th. So his entire dark strategy is to ensure your internal receiver remains completely blind to the upcoming miracle. If your internal frequency remains heavily suppressed, the massive blessing will simply pass right through you like a ghost. You will continue to live in a persistent state of painful lack while the abundance flows freely all around you. You will watch other people effortlessly claim the exact miracles that originally belonged to your specific bloodline. The universe is fiercely broadcasting the divine solution right now, but your biological radio is simply turned off. This is the hidden crisis that has kept so many chosen ones completely trapped in vicious cycles of poverty. They fast and they pray for endless hours, but they never address the severe biological suppression of their own minds. The modern world intentionally broke your divine receiver so you would remain weak and totally compliant. They profited massively from your constant spiritual exhaustion and your deep lingering anxiety. Before we go any further into the final revelation, I have to tell you something absolutely crucial. I have to reveal something. The toxic people who profit from your endless exhaustion desperately do not want you to know. A dedicated team of brilliant neuroscientists working quietly away from the chaotic media headlines made a massive discovery. They discovered exactly how to bring this dormant biological receiver back online quickly and safely. They found a way to reactivate that childhood genius frequency without requiring years of impossible meditation that most busy people simply cannot sustain. They did not use massive biofeedback machines that cost $7,000 and require a sterile clinical setting. They developed something far simpler and far more aligned with how your beautiful brain was originally designed to function. They engineered a highly specific sound frequency that gently guides your brainwave patterns back to their optimal state. Prestigious institutions like Princeton have rigorously studied this exact phenomenon for years. The brilliant researchers at the Einstein Center in Berlin confirmed its massive power. Columbia University even found that when this suppressed brainwave is fully reactivated, its power does not stop with you alone. It actually radiates outward and instantly begins to positively influence the people around you. Your precious children and your beloved partner will literally feel the massive energetic shift when you finally turn your receiver back on. This incredible restoration only takes exactly 7 minutes a day. That is all it truly takes to begin repairing the massive damage done by the modern world. And the beautiful truth is that it begins working the very first time you close your eyes and listen. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called, and exactly how you can easily access it before this vital message ends. The solution you have been desperately seeking is entirely real, and it is waiting for you right now. But first, there is something incredibly heavy you must bravely confront. There is a massive hidden block inside your own heart that is quietly threatening your entire activation on July 25th. If you do not completely destroy this subtle lie right now, the sound frequency alone will not be enough to save you. Coming up, I am going to gently expose the exact lie you have been secretly agreeing with for years. Let this powerful hope settle deep in your spirit first. But here is the part no one wants to hear. And I say this to you with nothing but pure love. The thing that has been quietly blocking your breakthrough is not the enemy. It is not the toxic people who betrayed you or the unfair economy that keeps you trapped in a cycle of endless poverty. The unexpected twist that you did not anticipate is actually living quietly inside your own mind. You have been secretly afraid of your own massive power. You have spent your entire life believing that your intense frequency was a dangerous burden. You intentionally dimmed your brilliant light just to keep the fragile people around you feeling comfortable. You constantly apologized for your deep spiritual intuition because it always made the ordinary people around you feel incredibly insecure about their own lives. But the absolute truth is that you are terrified of your own massive potential. You are deeply afraid of the massive responsibility that comes with your true spiritual authority. If you fully accept your identity as a breakthrough prophet, you can never play the victim again. Stepping fully into your gamma frequency means you can no longer blame the chaotic universe for your painful circumstances. And some quiet part of your wounded heart has been actively avoiding that heavy mantle because playing small feels so much safer than standing in the intense fire. It felt safe to quietly complain about the endless spiritual warfare. But playing small does not serve heaven, and it certainly does not protect you. Please hear my voice right now, because this is not an accusation. This is the exact spiritual diagnosis that will completely set you free. The enemy did not magically steal your divine receiver while you were sleeping in the dark. You subconsciously agreed to turn it off because the intense volume of your own spiritual gifts completely overwhelmed your fragile nervous system as a child. You made a silent agreement with limitation just to survive your trauma. You traded your immense power for a false sense of safety. But that old survival mechanism is now the exact cage keeping you trapped in poverty. You cannot possibly walk into the explosive activation on July 25th while desperately apologizing for your own strength. Heaven is asking you to violently break your quiet agreement with smallness right now. You must completely release the toxic need to be understood by every single person you meet, because your divine assignment does not require a popular vote or a committee approval. You only need the approval of the universe. It only requires your absolute and unapologetic surrender to the frequency you were created to hold. The universe is waiting for you to stop acting like a helpless orphan. You are a chosen warrior, carrying a specific vibration that literally alters the physical atmosphere around you. But you have to actually want the profound responsibility that comes with being fully awake while the rest of the world remains comfortably asleep in their pleasant illusions. You have to finally decide that staying asleep is far more painful. The gamma brainwave we talked about earlier is not just a tool for financial abundance. It is the raw biological frequency of pure spiritual sovereignty and absolute clarity. When you restore that specific receiver, you are boldly telling the universe that you are finally ready to lead without any apologies. You are declaring that you will no longer shrink down to fit inside tiny boxes. You are taking back the holy inheritance that was violently stolen from your bloodline. This is exactly why the enemy wants you to remain terrified of your own immense potential. He knows that a fully activated chosen one is entirely immune to his cheap psychological tricks. The moment you completely accept your power, his entire dark assignment against your life immediately collapses into absolute dust before your very eyes. You have to stop fearing the beautiful magnitude of your own inner light. It is time to aggressively reclaim your specific frequency. And now comes the pivotal moment where everything officially shifts in your favor. The season of hiding in the dark shadows is completely over for you. If this heavy word met you in the exact place you needed it to land, then you are incredibly ready to take the next step. It is time to physically break the final chain holding you back. Tonight, we are going to permanently sever your toxic agreement with smallness. I need you to prepare your heart for what comes next. Some messages merely inform your mind, but this specific message is designed to aggressively activate your spirit. You are about to make a legal decree in the unseen realm that forces the enemy to back down forever and releases your ultimate blessing. Do not let your mind wander for a single second. The breakthrough you have been violently fighting for is literally just one breath away. The explosive shift, scheduled for July 25th, is already vibrating in the spiritual atmosphere. It is actively searching the earth for the brave vessels who have fully restored their receivers. You are exactly the person this massive provision was originally designed to locate and bless long before you were even born into this world. Your long season of brutal preparation is finally complete. Your true assignment starts right now. This is your exact moment, and it is happening right now. Place your hand on your heart and declare this with me out loud so the universe can hear you. I completely release the toxic need to be small. I release every single false agreement I made with limitation and fear. I fully step into my divine assignment today. I completely refuse to apologize for the massive light that heaven placed inside my soul. My painful isolation was holy preparation, and it was never a punishment. My ultimate breakthrough is not just coming toward me because it is already standing right here in front of me, and I walk forward knowing I am chosen and deeply prepared. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Something massive just shifted in the unseen spiritual realm. You are fully sealed for the activation on July 25th. The specific question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message: what if the frustrating gap is not a character flaw? Here is the absolute answer you have been waiting for. A specific brainwave called the gamma wave was running freely in you as a joyful child. Princeton University rigorously studied this exact phenomenon for many dedicated years. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is fully restored, it completely transforms the people you love. A dedicated team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Robert Lake, spent years working on this. They took the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation that usually requires hours of therapy and carefully compressed it into just 7 highly effective minutes. Before I tell you what they built, let me tell you about 2 chosen ones. Rachel from California had literally tried everything to fix her situation. Meditation and manifestation did absolutely nothing to break her heavy mental fog. But after 2 weeks of listening, she said her blocked channels simply opened wide. Her marriage beautifully shifted, and her mind sharpened. Then Michael from Texas started using it to improve his business focus. 2 months later, his wife joked his IQ had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems simply solved themselves while he peacefully slept. He said it felt like his brain was finally running on its true power source after years of operating on a completely empty battery. The neuroscientists decided to call it the Genius Song. It is absolutely not a generic meditation app. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. It is carefully compressed from a full clinical protocol into something you just do at home without needing any expensive equipment or special training. You simply put your headphones on and close your eyes. You do not chant, and you do not exert any stressful effort. You simply let the healing frequency do what your brain was designed to receive. The Genius Song is definitely not meant for every single person watching this video. It is strictly for the chosen one who has already done the heavy inner work and who knows deep down that their frequency is currently blocked. If your spirit strongly confirms this is for you, then the clear path is below. Clinical biofeedback sessions to restore this rare state cost hundreds of dollars per hour. An in-home machine easily runs into the thousands of dollars. What the Genius Song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a tiny fraction of its true value because the creators want you to have it. 4 incredibly powerful bonuses come directly with this specific audio track. You receive a special audio designed specifically to help your children focus. You get the original prosperity text that the famous secret was secretly built upon. You also receive a guided visualization and a printed daily habits guide built to sustain your gamma state long after you finish listening to the track. Here is the deeper truth about waiting for your big miracle. The beautiful blessing arranged for you does not arrive as entirely new information. It arrives in your life as a clear and sudden recognition. Something already placed in your path becomes visible only when your gamma receiver is fully restored to the exact frequency it was designed to run on. The chosen one who restores the receiver today finally sees what was always there. Do not look for this tool on YouTube or Spotify. The fake tracks circulating there have no real brain entrainment technology encoded in them. The only authentic version is safely protected from these dark forces. The universe requires absolutely no risk from you today because this is an energetic exchange governed by complete and total trust. If you do not feel the massive shift, every single penny is returned to you. You have a full divine guarantee to test it safely in your own home. The secure link is waiting in the description and in the pinned comment below. The frequency tool is never meant to be your final destination. The tool simply restores the physical receiver so the glorious destination can be recognized when it finally arrives at your front door. God does not require you to purchase anything to be deeply loved or chosen. What was just described is simply one way the physical receiver is quickly restored. Whether that specific path is for you or not, the profound truth of this message belongs to you entirely, and nobody can ever take it away. Now let us go much deeper into what is waiting for you. The spiritual event on July 25th is approaching incredibly fast. You are fully prepared to receive the abundance heaven promised you. The intense season of spiritual preparation is finally complete, and you can comfortably take a very deep breath right now. The heavy spiritual fire has officially cooled down. The violent storms that shook your foundation have passed. What remains is the solid bedrock of your unshakable faith and spiritual authority. You have bravely survived the long, terrifying darkness. Everything you bravely endured over these past few months was never wasted. It was meticulously preparing you for the exact moment you are standing in today. You are absolutely not the misunderstood scapegoat anymore. You are the chosen one carrying a massive assignment for your bloodline, and heaven trusts you completely with this monumental task. The heavy generational curses holding your family back are permanently broken today. You do not need anyone else to validate your specific calling. You do not need their permission to step fully into your immense spiritual power. Release every single lingering agreement with smallness and toxic delay. Release the painful lie that you are simply too much for this ordinary world. You were intentionally designed and perfectly built for this exact divine frequency because heaven needed your specific light on earth. Your massive breakthrough is not just coming toward you in the distant future. It is already here, and it is already moving powerfully in your daily life. The energetic shift scheduled for July 25th is entirely secure. Heaven has dispatched angels to aggressively guard your upcoming spiritual transition, and they will not rest until your miracle is fully delivered. You can rest confidently because you are incredibly safe in His hands. You no longer have to fight the unseen battles all by yourself. The universe is actively fighting massive wars for you while you peacefully rest. Let your exhausted mind and your incredibly weary body find true comfort tonight. You have quietly carried the heavy emotional weight of the entire world for far too long, and your tired soul desperately needs a moment to recover. Now it is time to lay that massive burden down forever. You are standing in perfect alignment with the beautiful divine plan. Nothing the enemy tries to do can ever reverse the powerful declaration you made today. Your spirit is fully awake, and your biological receiver is completely ready to accept the massive blessing that heaven has been preparing for you since the beginning. The long, exhausting wait in the dark wilderness is officially over. The glorious promised land is finally visible on the clear and bright horizon ahead. The people who completely misunderstood your journey will eventually see the undeniable truth, but you no longer need their late validation to feel secure in your holy assignment. You are bravely walking a highly specialized spiritual path. Very few ordinary humans will ever comprehend this beautiful journey. The sudden ending of toxic relationships was actually your greatest hidden blessing in disguise. The universe intentionally removed the heavy emotional anchors so your beautiful ship could finally sail out into the deep waters of your destiny. Do not look back at the shallow, familiar shores you just left behind today, because the glorious spiritual destination ahead of you requires your absolute and unbroken daily focus. Your beautiful spirit is stepping into a reality of pure, radiant abundance. The frantic and exhausting days of desperate survival mode are completely behind you now. You are happily entering a beautiful new chapter that is entirely defined by profound peace and completely effortless daily manifestation in your life. The things you used to chase relentlessly will now naturally flow into your open hands. You can finally trust the quiet stillness that is settling over your peaceful home. That deep silence is absolutely not the terrifying absence of a loving and protective God. It is the comforting sound of heaven working quietly in the background to arrange your next beautiful miracle while you patiently wait. The heavy and toxic spiritual atmosphere has cleared completely from your life. The fresh air you breathe is incredibly pure and totally clean again. Tomorrow morning you are going to wake up feeling remarkably different inside. The crushing heavy weight that usually sits on your chest will be entirely gone. You will open your eyes and instantly feel a sudden wave of deep spiritual clarity wash over your beautiful mind. The confusing spiritual fog has permanently lifted from your weary and tired vision. You are finally completely free to live your truth. Remember that you carry a unique frequency that literally shifts the physical world. Walk confidently into the next few days, knowing you are heavily protected by heaven. Do not let the chaotic noise of the ordinary world pull you back into a state of panic or fear. You are deeply anchored to the massive, undeniable truth of your divine selection, and absolutely no one can ever take this glorious spiritual inheritance away from you. For the chosen one whose spirit deeply confirmed the frequency tool I described earlier, the specific healing path remains completely open for you in the description and the pinned comment below. That is the absolute last time it will ever be mentioned in this message. What follows right now belongs entirely to your sacred and final spiritual sealing. Nothing else will distract you from this holy moment. Before you leave this sacred space, gently press the like button today. Doing this ensures this incredibly important blessing can safely reach another chosen one who desperately needs hope tonight, because someone out there is praying for exactly this. Share this specific message with someone who has also been unfairly called too sensitive, because they urgently need to understand the massive spiritual power they secretly carry inside. Subscribe and turn on all notifications today. Do this so you never miss the next powerful revelation about who you really are. The beautiful truth about your identity is being systematically buried by the modern world. Type Amen in the comments right now if you fully and completely receive this word. Your incredibly powerful divine assignment officially starts today, and you must always remember that you are profoundly and eternally loved by the universe.